Om 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 Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahi Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Sam Saraswatyai Namaha Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Hari Om. Welcome to this 32nd evening of this Vivekachoodamani Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna. Until yesterday, we saw all those 10 verses, very beautiful, meditative, lilting verses on that truth on which we can meditate, beginning with Jati Niti Kula Gotra Duragam. So when we listen to something that is simple, so easy, that it becomes, okay, this much only is meditation, this much only is self-realization. I have read this, I have read the verses, I have listened to it, and now I know the truth, and that's it. It is not so easy, because realization only with knowledge is not completely possible, because there is something else in us that prevents us from being established in that realization at all times. What is that? That is a topic that's being addressed now in these verses 267 to 276. Almost 9 verses. What is that subject which is being addressed? The obstacle to realization. What is the obstacle to being established in the realization? Is our vasanas. What is the method to give up the vasanas that we have? What is vasana? What are the types of vasanas? The main types of vasanas, and how we can give them up is being discussed here in a different meter, so that we who have been lost in the lovely music of Jati Niti Kula Gotra Duragam Nama Rupa Guna Dosha Varjitam. So Bhagavan Adisankaracharya jolts us out of that reverie, that samadhi, the apparent samadhi nishta that the verses can take us to. Jnate vastunyapi balavati vasananadiresha karta bhoktapyam aham iti dridhayasya samsara hetuhu pratyak drishtyatmani nivasata sapaneya prayatnat muktim prahustadiga munayo vasana tanavam yat. What is mukti? What is liberation? Knowing the truth alone is not enough. We have to apply the truth and strive to express it in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions, and in our silence. Then the truth can lead us to liberation. What is what do the munis, the people who contemplate, who meditate, what do they say about truth? Vasana tanavam yat. When the vasanas or the impressions of our past karma, including our thoughts, words, and actions, those impressions are there inside us. When they become denuded or when they become very, very mild, when they're almost getting erased, only then mukti is possible. Vasana tanavam Rama in the Yoga Vasishta, Bhagavan Vasishta Rishi tells Sri Rama, Vasana tanavam Rama moksha ityabhidiyate. Vasana tanavam Rama moksha ityabhidiyate. Padartha vasana dardhyam bandha ityuchyate budhai. What do the wise people say? The denuding of vasanas. What is a vasana? Vasana is a combination of a word and its meaning. We give importance to that word and the meaning. It is there in our system. It is there in our software. The word, some word or thought, and the meaning of that thought, which is the prana that sustains the thought, which is a quality. The meaning is a quality and the thought is a word. When the quality and the word are very strong, it is called a vasana. And when this meaning, shabdartha vasana dardhyam, dardhyam means dridhata. There is a belief in me and that belief is very strong. I am not able to remove it, nor is anybody else able to remove that belief from me. It can be a wrong belief. Then it is a vasana. It's a strong vasana in me. Then what is moksha? Vasana tanavam. Here the same word is used. Vasana tanavam prahuhu mukti. Mukti and moksha are the same meanings. Different words with the same meaning. Jnate vastuni api balavati vasana anadiresha. Even after realization of the truth, jnate, vastuni api, that subject, the reality, balavati vasana anadiresha. There is a very strong thing in us called vasana, and this vasana is anadi. Anadi means nobody knows when it began. When it began, the time period is not known. Anadi vasana. Karta, what does that vasana do? What does that thought, that belief in me do? It makes me to believe that karta, bhokta, api, aham iti, dridha yasya, ya, asya, samsara hetuhu. The dridha vasana makes me think I am the doer of actions and I am the bhokta. I am the enjoyer of actions. Aham, I, the doer and the enjoyer. Dridha, ya, asya. And this firmness of the belief is the cause for samsara. Gurudev here says, when we say identifying of the mind with the I am the perceiver, feeler and thinker, I am the ego, and the feeling of I am not the self, identification with the feeling that I am not the reality, I am the perceiver, feeler, thinker, I am the ego, is the cause for samsara or all transmigration. Samsara means rebirth, being born again on this earth. Pratyak drishtya atmani nivasata. How can this vasana be removed? Pratyak drishti. When I turn my attention towards the self. I. Who am I? This question which Ramana Maharishi asked everybody to ask. Who am I? When I inquire that and I hit, when it is like digging a bore well. We go on digging. We remove everything that is not required, that is not hitting the water in the borewell. Everything else comes out. We continue to dig, and then water starts gurgling out. Then we know we have reached the water spot. In the same way, the Pratyeka Atman is our knowledge spot of who am I. We go on not digging, we go on inquiring. Inquiring is equal to that digging. Who am I? Who am I? The same motion. Who am I? Who am I? Until I arrive at the truth. Atmani, in myself, Nivasata, this Atman resides. Sa apaneya prayatnat. That realization will annihilate all my vasanas or the impressions of my past actions, past thoughts, good and bad. It doesn't matter. The impression matter. That impression will keep causing more thoughts and actions, and more thoughts and actions will lead to future births. So the way to remove that vasana is to contemplate on who am I and arrive at the truth. The next verse, aham mameti yo bhavo dehakshadavanatmani adhyasoyam nirastavyo vidusha swatmanishtayam. By nishtha in my own self, by abidance in my true self, I have to do something. Vidusha means by the person. Vidusha is the one who has known the truth. Where is the truth? The truth is within me. When I abide in that truth, aham mameti yo bhavaha. There is a bhava, or there is a feeling of I and mine. Where is the feeling of I and mine? I am this body. I am these sense organs. I am the eyes. I am the ears. That's why we say, I see, I hear, I taste, I smell, I touch. Deha akshadau, anatmani. These are all not I, but I strongly believe that I am I. These are all I. The body, the sense organs, the mind. This is called adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition. The sense of I has been superimposed on the body and the sense organs. We have put this letter, this thought called I on the body, and we say, I am this body. We put the thought, we may not say, I am this body, but we may say, I am fat, or I am thin, or I am tall, or I am short, or I am dark, or I am fair, I am ugly, or I am beautiful, everything. All these things are other words to say that I am the body. This is called adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition. On the wall, I hang a picture. That picture is the adhyasa. And when I point out to the wall in the direction of the picture, and I ask somebody what is there, they will say picture is there. Actually, what is there? Wall is there. And because of the wall, the picture is standing. They will not say the wall is there because the adhyasa of the picture is covering my perception of the wall. In the same way, the adhyasa of the body and the senses as I is covering the perception, the right perception of who I am. That adhyasa has to be removed. Adhyasaha ayam nirastavyaha. It has to be removed. How can it be removed? By constantly meditating on the real self. Swa atmanishtaya. Abiding in my own true self. Knowing it and bringing it out in my understanding. That's the way. Knowing it is by listening to it, meditating upon it, contemplating upon it, and in the state of meditation, making that understanding firm. Meditation actually freezes a thought. It is like sleep. It doesn't freeze a thought. Sleep freezes our thoughts because there is no there is no conscious awareness on our part. There is no heat, there is no a sense of that hot prana is not there in the state of deep sleep. Everything is very cool. We are all cooled down. We are completely rested. The room is cool. Even when the ambient temperature becomes cool, only we can go to sleep. And so there is coolness in the time of sleep. And so all our thoughts become frozen in sleep. But in the waking state, our thoughts and our beliefs, which are all formed inside, are all alive with our awareness. In that state, when I shut my sense organs and I focus within and meditate, then everything gets the energy, it gets heated up, and in that heat it can even dissolve. Vidusha Swatma Nishtaya. When I focus on myself, which means when I focus on that life energy within, when I'm just being quiet, I observe the breathing, the mind becomes quiet. Slowly, slowly, when I observe the breathing, I am able to see clearly that I am not the breath. I am observing the breath. The breath is an object and I am the subject. The breath and I are different. I am aware of the breath. The breath is not aware of me. When I am contemplating in this manner, I arrive at the true self. Vidusha Swatma Nishtaya. When I am abiding in the true self as the one who is aware of everything, then I will be able to remove all these adhyasa, superimpositions. Jnatvam swam pratyagatmanam buddhi tad vritti sakshinam sohamityeva sadvritya anatmanyatma matim jahi. Anatmani atma matim jahi. Give up the thought of I am the self on things that are not the self. What is not the self? The body is not the self, it is an object. The mind is not the self, it is an object. The sense organs are not the self, it is an object. The intellect is not the self, it is an object. Give up that thought of self on all the objects. Atma matim jahi. How? Jnatva swam pratyagatmanam. Again, how can we give up? We can give up only by knowing. When we focus on what we want, automatically what we don't want leaves us. Because we are not holding on to them with our emotions and with our awareness. Jnatva swam pratyagatmanam buddhi tadvritti sakshinam. What is this Atma or the self? Pratyak means within me. It is a sakshi of the buddhi, of the intellect, and tadvritti, all the modifications of that buddhi, all the thoughts, the different emotions, the different feelings. Tadvritti sakshinam. Saha aham iti eva. That observer of the intellect, I am. Iti eva sadvritya anatmani atmamatim jahi. With this contemplation, that I, who is the observer of the intellect and the thought modifications in the intellect, am that self. In this way, I will give up identification with what all is not I. It's a very simple process. But even then, something else is always stopping that understanding to happen. What is stopping that understanding? Lokanuvartanam tyaktva dehanuvartanam shastranuvartanam tyaktva swadhyasapanayam kuru. Here again and again this line is coming. Swa adhyasa apanayam kuru. Swa adhyasa means that superimposition of thoughts and beliefs which has come into myself. Apanayam. Remove all the superimpositions. Meaning remove all the dross. Remove all the litter. Remove all the dirt. Remove all the dust of vasanas that is covering my true vision of reality. Swa adhyasa apanayam kuru. Remove the adhyasa, remove the superimposition. How to remove? Earlier, swa, like atmanishta. Now, what is preventing atmanishta? Three things are preventing atmanishta or abiding in myself. Always I want to abide in the true nature of myself. And I love to sit in meditation. Or even when I'm interacting in the world, I love to be in that self, be in that awareness of the self and interact with the world. When we are working through out of love, when we are working out of compassion, friendship, we are staying with that awareness to a great extent. So, I want to be in that awareness of the self at all times. What is stopping me? Lokanuvartanam. Lokanuvartanam is imitating the world, imitating the latest fashions, doing things that people like me to do in the world, people pleasing, in other words. If you're a people pleaser, you will lose your peace of mind, first of all, because we cannot please everybody. Loka anuvartanam is being a people pleaser or following the ways of the world, going where everybody wants to go, doing what everybody wants to do, being in groups and groups of people, not wanting to come away and being silent and being quiet and meditative, but always wanting to be with the group. That is called Loka Anuvartanam. Then, Deha Anuvartanam is following the ways of the body, following how I can pamper the body, following how I can give comforts for the body, following how I can worry about the body, following how I can be thinking about the pains and the ills of the body, and all the time fidgeting about the body, thinking about the hair, the gray hair, the white hair, or how to dye my hair, dyeing it in purple color, straightening the hair, curling the hair, and shaping the eyebrows, applying makeup, removing makeup, again applying makeup the second time in the day, and then removing it, and then dressing up, many, many beautiful dresses. I go shopping, spending a lot of money. If we see all the shops outside, all the shops, all the clothes, textile shops, the scents shops, the fragrance shops, the makeup shop, the food shops, the beverages shops, then the different types of shoes, the bags, the ornaments, everything, the rubber bands, the hair bands, the hairdo, the different styling boutiques, and this beauty parlors, even everything is either to do with the body. Then you have the next level of pandering to the stomach, the hotels, the wine bars, the tasmac shops, and what else? All the extravagant expenditures that are related to the body, and then the sense organs, the movie theaters, the sound theaters, the different types of smells that we inhale, all the intoxicants that we inhale, and all the different tastes that we want to enjoy. Then the different comforts, the IKEA showrooms, the different types of mattresses, the different types of velvets, the different types of home furnishing, everything, home furnishing, office furnishing, car furnishing, everything is related to the body and the sense organs. Tyaktva, you leave that. Leave the attachment to the sense organs and pandering to the taste of the sense organs. Dehanuvartanam. And then, if we don't have these, there is another one. I want to study in this university, that university, I want to gain this knowledge, I want to go more deeper and deeper into all these studies. Instead of knowing about who am I and abiding in that knowledge is the only way to freedom. How much ever books we keep reading, how much ever degrees we go on accumulating, it is not going to give an iota of self-realization in our life. So, Shastra Anuvartanam Tyaktva. Shastra Anuvartanam also means give up all the Paravidya. Paravidya are those knowledge streams that give me some credit in this world, like name, fame, popularity, money, and lots of company, lots of people coming after me to know something. All that is Paravidya. So go into that Vidya alone, be with that knowledge of the self. Shastra Anuvartanam. Give up all the study of the Shastras. Even when we seek the knowledge of the self, also, people can get enmeshed in studying different Upanishads, the different entering to different logical platforms, logical arguments about the books. That is also not going to help us. So Shastra Anuvartanam. Stop following, going behind the books or the textbooks of any subject, and take up that knowledge, be with that knowledge and meditate within. That's what is the essence of the statement. Tyaktva swa adhyasa apanayam kuru. I can remove the adhyasa, I can remove the superimposition by meditating upon the self, by quietening the mind and meditating on the self, and not by any other work, any other action, fulfilling any desire, or studying many books. It's not possible. When we study books, we get information, but that information has to become transformation of realization of that knowledge. The realization doesn't happen because of books. That realization happens because of meditation on that knowledge and abiding in that by being quiet. Lokavasanaya jantoho shastravasanaya picha dehawasanaya jnanam yatha vannaiva jayate. Jnanam yathavat, that self, I am not able to know it as it is because I am troubled by three vasanas. Loka vasana. Vasana means the thoughts about the world. The thoughts, the thinking patterns that keep me in tune with the world. Loka. Loka means what I see around me, the whole world that I experience. The world is not actually this big earth that we are thinking every day. Our world is our father, mother, brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend, my pet peeves, my pet ideas, my pet foods, and my pets, and the people I hate, the people I love. This is only my world. So give up that. Give up thoughts about all these repetitive thoughts about what we know already all the time. Jantoho, then Shastra Vasana. Shastra Vasana is having a library of books and wanting to know everything. Wanting to acquire all that knowledge and store the knowledge in my mind. Why? Because I can always be very entertaining at parties. People will appreciate me for all the knowledge I have. I can become famous. I can write a lot of articles. I can give a lot of lectures. People will pay me for all those lectures. So there is a lot of monetary and fame criterion when it comes to knowledge. So give up that desire for knowledge, accumulating knowledge. The only knowledge I need, if I'm on this path of self-realization, the only knowledge I need is who am I? The answer to who am I? When I get that answer, even through the Shastras, I leave the Shastras and I sit quietly and meditate on that. Meditate on what is that answer. Deha Vasanaya. Again, the other obstacle is my Deha Vasana. Deha Vasana is this thought about the body, thought about the illnesses of the body, thought about what I need to feed the body or what I need to feed other bodies around me. Whenever we are thinking about giving food to everybody, we are thinking about other bodies and how to feed them. So Deha Vasana. It is not talking about relinquishing our responsibilities towards a family, towards our work, and towards the world. No. This is the person who's engaged in the world is not going to come and study all this. The person who has come thus far in Vivekachoodamani, who's trying to understand the self, this advice is meant for that person who wants to seek the self. If you want to seek the self, you have to give up these three things: Lokavasana, Shastra Vasana, Deha Vasana. Attachment to the world, attachment to the scriptures, which scriptures means there are many shastras. The Paravidya is what is actually mentioned. All the knowledge of the world outside. Give up that attachment. And Deha Vasana is attachment to the body. Samsara Karagraha Mokshamichoho Ayomayam Padani Bandha Shrinkalam Vadanti Tajnaha Patuvasanatrayam Yosmad Vimuktaha Samupaiti Muktyam. Samsara Karagriham Mokshamichoho. If I desire to be free from this jail called samsara. Jail means the doors are locked outside. In this jail, actually the door is locked inside, and I am sitting inside that jail. If I want to be free from that jail, no jail superintendent or no government order is going to release us from that jail. From that jail, I have to will and desire that I have to be released. What is this? I am bound in that jail by Ayomayam Pada Nibandha Shrinkalam. I am bound by some iron chains. What is that? Vadanti Tajnaha. Those iron chains are Vasana Trayam. People who know the truth, know the reality, say that this Deha Vasana, this attachment to the body, Shastra Vasana, attachment to knowledge of many different things, like knowledge about outer space, knowledge about astrology, knowledge about astronomy, knowledge about grammar, knowledge about etymology, every field of knowledge which is which is a part of Maya, part of the name, form, and qualities. Then Vasanatrayam, then Loka Vasana, attachment to this world and the ways of the world. Tajnaha Patu Vasanatrayam Yo Asmat Vimuktaha. If they are free from the vasanas or the chains that bind us, then they will be free from this jail called samsara. Jaladi samsarga vashat prabhuta durgandha duta agaru divya vasanam Sangharshanenaiva vibhati samyak vidhuyamane sati bahya galdhe. There is this very fragrant incense called agaru. Chandanagaru kasturi. We use that in our prayers, in our puja. Chandanagaru kasturi Chandra Guggula Samyutam Dhupam Grihana Bhagavan Dhuta Papa Namostute. So Agaru is a very famous incense. Gurudev, Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayanandaji writes here, Agalocham is called Agaru. And this, there are many types of incense. Sage is one incense. So this, when this Agaru is in contact with water, it starts stinking. Like Agaru is very lovely fragrance for Agaru, but when it comes in contact with water, there is a great stink. And then when you scrub the Agaru, when you wash it completely with fresh water and you start scrubbing the Agaru like the sandal, the stink will go away and the fragrance of Agaru will start coming. In the same way, even sandal also. Sandal is by nature fragrant. It has got no stink about it. But when you put sandal in water, the sandal starts becoming very, the sandal is, what to say, it starts stinking because of the contact with water. But then when you want that stink to go away, wash it again in fresh water and rub it in stone, and then the fragrance of sandal will start coming. In the same way, the self is the sandal and the stink is our vasanas. Our vasanas are attachments to the world, to the body, and to the shastras. The Shastra is a very strong word to say that attachment to Shastras is stink of Vasana. It is not actually stinking, but that attachment leads us to so many things like name, fame, prosperity, money, and our attachment to power that will cause the stink in our vasanas. We don't like power hungry people. We don't like arrogant people who are so proud of their knowledge. We don't like people who are so proud of their contacts in this world and how great they are in this world. We don't like people who are preening all the time, dressing up like a dandy and fooling around the place. We are not very happy about being in the company of such people. It enervates us, it drains our energy. So that is what the stink means, the stink of vasanas. But when we scrub the self against this knowledge of I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, or Tattvamasi, when the scrubbing is done with the thought of Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi or I am Atma Brahma or Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham is that scrubber with which I scrub the self, and then all the vasanas start going away and the fragrance of the smell begins to waft around us. Anatma vasana jalaihi tiro bhutatma vasanam nityatma nishtaya tesham nashe bhati swayam sputam anatma vasana jalaihi tiro bhuta atma vasana. Atma vasana is not a particular impression or a thought, it is a reality, but as a feeling in us. That feeling is covered by the other feelings of anatma, whatever is not the self, meaning the world, the objects, the people, the situations, and the sense organs, and all that. So all these feelings and thoughts cover the feeling of the self. Nitya Atma Nishtaya. So how to get rid of all those feelings? I cannot scrape it away with a scrubber, or I cannot go take baths again and again and clean it, because it is a state of mind. It is not the condition of the body. So I cannot clean it by cleaning the body, or just by decorating my house or cleaning up my house. I cannot clean the self. How do I do? Nitya Atma Nishtya. By Nitya Atma Nishtya, by every day meditating upon who am I, where am I, what am I, what is the true nature of myself. Meditating on these thoughts every day, Tesham Nashe Bhati Swayam Sputa. All the vasanas are destroyed by this meditation on a day-to-day basis. Nitya means Nirantaram, continuous state of meditation. How long should I meditate? As fast as I want to be free from these vasanas which are not the self and be established in who I am. Yatha yatha pratyagavasthitam manah tatha tatha munchati bahya vasanaha nishesha moksho sati vasananam atmanubhuti pratibandha shunyam. Yatha yatha, as long as to the extent pratyagatma avasthitam manaha, the mind is the equipment that knows, the one that knows through thoughts, through seeing, through hearing, through tasting, through smelling, through touching. The mind knows. The mind also is the equipment through the intellect can know the reality, can abide in the reality. Yatha yatha pratyagavasthitam manaha. As long as the mind comes inside, the mind is something like that balloon we blow when we are all kids. We go to some fairs, they'll be selling a whistle. That whistle will have a cap, like a hole inside. From that hole, a man will come out, a doll will come out. If I blow into it, the doll will come up. If I withdraw my breath, the doll will go in. Like that, mind going in is like the doll going in and get established inside. Withdraw everything, withdraw the breath, withdraw my participation in the world, attract the mind inside, bring it inside, and put it inside the single pointed thought of the intellect, and then be the observer of that thought. Realize that I am the observer of the that thought. Swatha tatha munchati bahya vasana. As much as I engage in being with the self, that much the outside vasanas will drop away from me. Even if you try being very quiet for some time amidst your school friends or college friends or colleagues, when you spend some quiet time, slowly you see that people will start leaving you. They don't want to spend time. I used to do this. Sometimes people will be very disturbing when they talk, during dinner time. I'm talking of general people. At dinner time, when I want to be quiet and contemplative, people will be watching something, they will be doing many distractive things like loudly watching on the mobile phone and all that. So I don't want to tell them to stop because they know that it is not the decorum of the dining table to have the mobile phone and be punching on it all the time. I will just sit quietly and meditate. I will not tell them anything, but I will just quietly sit and be in, instead of complaining about that or instead of worrying about that, just quietly drop everything and meditate. And what will happen is they'll switch off the mobile phone and they will start engage in conversation with me. Despite the fact that my eyes are closed, they will wake me up, they will talk. So that in that way, tatha munchati bhakya vasana. Whenever we contemplate on the self, the outside vasanas will leave us. Nishesha moksho sati vasananam atmanubhutihi pratibandha shunya. Nishesha, all the vasanas are completely gone, meaning all the thoughts. There are no thoughts in my mind. The mind, it is not an empty mind, it is a full mind, it is a completely absorbed mind. A mind that is absorbed in the truth only. And there are no other thoughts of this and that, or worry, or anxiety, or jealousy, or hatred. All those thoughts are not there. Only the presence of the truth, the understanding of the truth, or abidance in the truth, that feeling alone remains. Sati vasananam. Then what happens? Atma anubhuti, bhutihi, pratibandha shunya. There are no disturbances to being established in my own self. There is no pratibandha, or there is no obstacle to my knowing myself. When is there no obstacle? When the vasanas are removed, I realize who I am. So we will continue tomorrow how to end the superimposition or adhyasa. One way is to quieten, one way is to remove the vasanas, and the next is to end the superimposition. The main vasanas are the body, the mind, and the intellect, and all the three are our superimposition. They are not real. And so, how to end that, we will see tomorrow. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। हर नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम।